Let me know if the quality drops down or the like, or what the quality's like. Okay, we do need to get VoxATC started.
Hey Captain, how are you today?
Good, yourself? Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on the quality thing. We're dropping frames a little bit, that's all. Welcome to Australia's crappy internet. And they wonder why we need better. Okay, so he's on, my first officer's doing his pre-flight and all that fun stuff. Given this is my first time using it on this aircraft, I do have the good old help open for it. So let's do our pre-flight. We know the aircraft flight log and the circuit breakers are good. We know the landing gear's down. The radar is
I'm out for the walk around.
off. Our first officer's just gone out for his walk around. Main bus tied. Good. Basically, we know everything in here is good because this version of it doesn't allow it to be anything but good. So, okay, we need to set this to doors because we'll be looking at the doors. We've got the ATIS. We're using the GPU at the moment, so we want these actually all off. Test has passed. Always good. And yeah, Rob, in the fact that you live in a place that actually has the stuff already. This is where I really should have some stuff better done, but oh well. We're on auto, good. That is fully counterclockwise. Landing altitude, we need to set the landing altitude over here. For Boise going field, which is always a good one because it's an American airfield and I've got no idea. So we're going to quickly and jump into Navigraph charts here. We're actually going to have a look. So we want to find KBOI.
Hi guys, do you mind if we start boarding now?
Yes, go ahead.
Thanks, I'll be back with the load sheet later.
Okay. So we're going to probably have the stream hiccup slightly for a moment here. I kind of forgot to grab the aerodrome beforehand, just like I kind of don't have Seattle's, but we can live with that. Elevation is 875 meters, which is fine, except for this is in feet. So we should, if 2,824 feet will do. Ballpark figure, it doesn't have to be exact. So there's our pressurization panel done, our position light on. This will be a no smoking flight. Our caution lights are all working. Our pack switches are on auto. Our recirculation switch is to recirc, and our bleeds are off. There's wheel steering, which is over here. So we're actually going to want that off. Enjoys a track IR, at least we can actually look over. The bleed flow controller should actually be on minimum.
Okay, I'm back from the walk around. Everything looks good.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, and I'm fairly certain we need to arm the yaw dampener. Taxi. That's already set to me. Nav source will be set to the FMC. Because we will be using FMS1 to leave. Set the park brake on. Now we can actually start getting into where we're meant to be. So we want here 128 decimal 0 tuned there to begin with. I'm going to bypass the hydraulic 3. Normally we'd check this. I know it's fine. We're bypassing it. I need to contact Seattle clearance and get our clearance to Boise so I can actually start on filling out this. Seattle clearance, charter 11, radio check 128.0.
Charter 11, readability 5.
Readability 5 also, charter 11. Seattle clearance, charter 11, ready for clearance, Boise Air Terminal going.
Charter 11, stand by. Charter 11, cleared to Boise Air Terminal Gowan Airport, Summer 7 departure, then as filed, maintain 6000, expect flight level 25010 minutes after departure, departure frequency 119.2, squawk 3013.
Charter 11 is cleared to Boise Air Terminal Gowan Airport, Suma 7 departure, then as filed, maintain 6000, expect flight level 250, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.2, squawk 3013.
Charter 11, Summer 7 departure, then as filed, maintain 6000, departure frequency 119.2, squawk 3013.
Charter 11, Summer 7 departure, then as filed, maintain 6000, departure frequency 119.2, squawk 3013.
Charter 11, squawk 3013.
Charter 11, squawk 3013.
Charter 11, read back correct.
Thank you. Read it back correct this first time. So 3013 will be our squawk code. Our initial altitude will be 6000. No, really we should have that set to our initial acceleration altitude, but 6000 will do. We will be talking to departure on ground on 121.7. And then we will be talking to departure on 119.2. So with that done, we can actually start filling out our flight plan. We kind of need to as well. So we will get our fuel in. There's a couple of ways you can do this. It's technically, if you want it exact, you're meant to do the fuel that you will have on takeoff and all this fun stuff, at least according to the training videos. I am just entering the fuel we have. I know what our zero fuel weight is going to be, simply because if we look here, I have our zero fuel mass right here. This value is 23291. So rather than entering this, I can actually just go to zero fuel mass and put in 23291. I do believe it was, just double check. Yep. Hit enter, and it will have this. Now, the big one here is our fuel load. So, we look here, we have 216 kilograms for our alternate. We don't have any for our base hold at the moment, but we do have 805, which will be our extra far reserve. So really, I suppose I should put these two in, but it's American. I've got no idea how they actually do their stuff. That'll do. But that is our fuel sorted, it won't actually give us all these details yet because we need to go into a flight plan. So we're leaving KSEA, accept, and we are flying to KBOI. From here, we can click on here, we can tell it we want to list, and we'll look at our flight plan here. Actually, we'll return for a moment. We're going to be departing Seattle on 34 right. Last time we checked. We had a Suma 7 departure, so 7. We were not told that we had a transition, so we just leave that like that. From Suma, if we go back to our flight plan here, we are going direct to LTJ. So we actually need to go to here and type in L Lima Tango Juliet. Okay, from Lima Tango Juliet, we want to fly the airway here, presuming it shows up. We're on the wrong one. Flight plan. Next page. From LTJ, we want to fly Victor 9497, so number 6. And we'll be flying that down until we reach India Mike Bravo at 5. From India Mike Bravo, we will be flying on the Victor 500. Until we reach Hosts, which is 7. And based on that at the moment, you're expecting a KBOI to arrive for runway, based on the weather planned at the moment, runway 28, right? So 4. Using the Palmo 1 star. Our transition there, it doesn't look like we're using a host transition or the like. Actually, we are using a host transition. And our approach on 28 right will most likely be an RNAV, which is what this is. We'll just say A or 1 for the moment. We can always remove it later if we need to. So we're just going to check the plan. So the big one here is at the moment we have
a safe flight.
some of these doubling up, but we'll deal with that when we get there. So far it's showing everything correctly. Our initial course will be (343). We really should have paid attention to ATIS a little bit more, but we're lucky we can cheat. We can actually go here and grab the meta. So our pressure's 1080. I should say. Now what we do need to do is set our speed bugs, which is in part where having all that lovely data that we've got comes in handy. We'll ask this guy if he's...
Are you ready for the departure briefing?
Go ahead.
This will be a standard left seat departure. We are at a gate and pushback is required, so you will be handling the engine start. The departure runway and taxi route will be as assigned by ATC. For the taxi, this airport uses ASDX, so turn the transponder on for taxi. PF nav source for the departure will be heading select. Anti-ice is required. We'll use level 1. As for the takeoff plan, we'll use flaps 5. For the routing itself, the departure will be an ATC assigned SID. We'll use NTOP for the takeoff power, and the bleeds will be off. For the safety brief, any abnormality prior to 80 knots, I'll stop the aircraft on the runway. After 80 knots, I'll stop for an engine failure or fire. Anything after V1 will take it airborne. You let the tower know we've had an emergency and we'll need straight out. At 1,000 feet, we'll engage altitude hold, accelerate to V-climb, retract the flaps, and engage IAS mode for our V-climb and complete the memory items. Any questions?
No questions.
Departure briefing complete.
What you can't see at the moment is off to the side here. I am logging into a tool by AuraSim. So what this allows is I can click performance. I can tell it that we're going from Seattle on we apparently managed to bug it out. Always fun. At the moment, I'm fairly certain it's in a dry. The reason I put in the weather concerns is because there's snow at the moment. The outside temperature, I can actually tell it to get the weather for us. our takeoff weight, again we do have this value, is expected to be 25755 kilograms. So what this is going to do for
Everyone's
us...
seated. We're all buttoned up and ready to go in the back.
Thanks.
If you need anything, just let me know.
So we need to we're actually running a little behind, but yeah. Okay, so our V1 will be 121. We need to
Checked.
wrong. We're turning the wrong thing here. Okay. V1 will be 124. VR will be 124. V1, and because of the way the dash 8's made, V1 and VR tend to be very, very similar, as pointed out by a lot of people. And V2 will be 126. So if we're not, if we're basically 2 knots after we rotate, we are going too fast to abort. Our V flaps is 135 or 137. And our climb out speed is 148. So what this is basically doing is it's just simply letting us know our values at a glance. So let's request our startup. Seattle ground, Charter 11, request startup.
Charter 11, startup approved.
Roger, Charter 11. Before start checklist. Before start checklist. Are you ready for this checklist? Before start checklist.
Stand by. Bridge and agent checks flow.
Repeat last.
Stand by. Bridge and agent checks flow.
Check. Before start checklist. Before start checklist, please. Oh, for crying out loud. Engine start checklist.
Battery master main auxiliary standby.
On.
Doors, fueling lights.
Closed and out.
Anti-collision light.
Red.
APU bleed.
Off.
Engine. Clear on 2.
Clear on 2.
Engine start checklist complete.
Start 2 for me, please.
Starting 2.
Hello?
Could I get a coffee, please?
Check.
Could I get a drink, please? No.
Check.
So, okay, we need to push back. We need to push back, so before we start the other engine. Just trying to remember where it is. Services. Push back. So we're going to go straight back to begin with.
Ground, we are ready for pushback.
We are ready now, please release parking brake.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back now, you're clear to start the engine number 2.
So we started engine 2 a little early. Oh well. Fairly certain it's the nose in the direction. Yep.
Pushback completed, set the parking brake.
Parking brake set. Can we get clearance at number 1?
The tow is free and clear of nose gear. Clear to start the engine number 1. Have a nice flight.
Start 1 for me, please.
Starting 1.
After start checklist.
Stand by.
We need to. Everything's working there.
External power, APU.
After start checklist. Couple of things that really confused the heck out of me. In part because I can't hear what he's saying. He said something about the APU, but the APU is off. After start checklist. After start checklist, please. So we were just going to skip the annoying thing. I'll work it out later. Seattle ground, charter 11 at gate Sierra 5 with information Bravo ready for taxi with clearance.
Charter 11, taxi to runway 34 right, via Bravo.
Taxi to runway 34 right, Bravo, charter 11. Actually, we'd better just double check some stuff. That's in the right spot, that's in the right spot. there we go. We are actually going to set our initial acceleration height. Yes?
Like that? Okay, thanks. Captain, they're securing the cap.
Thanks. An important one to make certain. Very important to make certain outsell is actually hit on this aircraft. If you don't, you will find that you go screaming through. Okay, now that we're actually moving and the like, I'm going to annoy some people and turn my track IR on, at least for a moment.
Charter 11, monitor Seattle Tower 119.9er.
119.9er, Charter 11. No, 119.2 will be departure frequency, so what we'll do. Apparently I can tell the first officer to tune it for me, apparently. Before takeoff, checklist to the line, please.
Flight attendants, please be seated for departure.
Charter 11, runway 34 right, clear takeoff.
Runway 34 right, cleared takeoff, Charter 11.
FA notification received. Takeoff briefing complete. Cabin PA complete. Condition levers.
Set. Max.
Max. Trims.
3 set.
3 set. Takeoff warning test.
Tested.
Flight controls check free. Flight taxi.
Flight.
Are you sure?
Tax.
Radar terrain. Transponder TCAS on alt. Before takeoff checklist complete to flying.
Below the line. Before takeoff checklist below the line.
Bleeds min off. External lights on. Runway.
Set and checked. Set. Runway 34 right, heading three 40. Runway 34, heading 338.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Okay, takeoff time. Check.
V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Flaps up. Flaps up. Flaps 0. Flaps 0.
To go. Alt cell.
Charter 11, contact Seattle departure 119.2.
One 119.2, Charter 11.
2500.
Seattle departure, Charter 11 with you on Summit 7.
Charter 11, Seattle departure, roger. Charter 11, climb and maintain 14,000.
Climb and maintain 14,000, Charter 11.
To go. Alt cell.
Anti-ice on. The reason we're climb checklist to the line. Flaps 0, airspeed 188, climb checklist to the line.
Climb checklist completed to the line.
Props 850 below the line.
Charter 11, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230, Charter 11. Props 900. Select props 900.
Set.
Don't mean to click that one off. Kinda need the pivots. I should know. I just realised what was actually happening with the checklists, unlike the 737, or like where it reads you, does its flow, and then says I'm ready for the checklist. It just, in this, it just slides straight into the checklist, and I wasn't recognising that fact, which is what the problem with the other checklists were. In other words, a user error. And if anybody is wondering, I am running, obviously, Orbex Pacific. We're flying basically real time at the moment, as far as I'm aware. I could do a sync, just to double check, but we're not going to bother. And as I showed earlier, we're running Active Sky.
To go. Alt cell.
Check. Thanks.
Charter 11, climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb and maintain flight level 250, Charter 11.
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 134.905.
134.95, Charter 11. Set 134.950 on COM1. Set 134.950 on COM1. Set 134.950 on COM1. Set 134.950 on COM1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you on Suma 7.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
1000 to go. Alt cell.
Select props 850.
Last aircraft, say again.
Select props 850. Select props 850.
Set.
So now of course we settle into the cruise, or what some people claim the boring part of the flight. We will take a look here. So this is obviously our flight. This is obviously our flight plan at the moment. We're coming up on Suma. So if we come in here, if we take a look, we can see there are air mets at the moment for a lot of this region we're flying into. Air mets are air meteorological warnings. The case of here, basically a warning that the mountains are going to be obscure. There is some other issues, but yeah. Turbulence warnings and the like. Let's get rid of the airports for a moment here. By the looks of it, I may have actually turned the traffic down a little bit too far for here as well. So looking at just a general forecast, we've got some rain and the like as we get closer to Boise. We've actually got snow at Boise. What we do need to do here though, set standard on our altimeters.
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 124.2.
124.2, Charter 11. Set 124.20 on com 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you on Suma 7.
Charter 11, Seattle Center. Roger. Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 134.9 Nerd 5.
134.95, Charter 11. Set 134.95 on com 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, Roger.
So when we descend into this mess down here, we are definitely going to have our anti-icing on.
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 126.6.
126.6, Charter 11. Set 126.60 on Com1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11, with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
Because obviously if we don't set anti-icing on and we go into this stuff, it could get rather messy. That being said, it may clear by the time we get there. You never know. And in case anybody wants to have a look at what it looks like. This is a view from outside the aircraft. We're flying an Alaskan aircraft today. It's one of the default paints. What I might see if I can't do here, because obviously I can undock these and move them off. They're technically separate windows, I believe. When I do so, we'll see if... Apparently we can't easily get that, just this little window on its own. kitty.
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 132.6.
One 132.6 Charter 11. Set 132.60 on COM 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
So, while we're showing this window, this is a de Havilland and -8 or a Q400, not to be mistaken for the Boeing 737 and correction 747-8, which also abbreviated to -8. It is a twin-engine turboprop, and we've got the problem that
Charter 11,
really
contact Seattle Center 126.6.
Reopen that in a second. 126.6 Charter 11. Set 126.60 on COM 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
So, okay. This is obviously our aircraft, as I was saying. It's a twin-engine turboprop. It was built primarily for these type of flights like what I'm doing now, short regional flights. It can carry up to, I think it's about 70 passengers. And is typically seen on the same type of routes as the ATR, except for unlike the ATR, which had a serious problem in the regions that we're flying at the moment, the -8 was designed for European operations and the like, so they knew it was going to have to fly in icing conditions. It's quite commonly used in the UK and the like, so you can imagine they get some fairly heavy snows. And as you can see from this one, it's an Alaskan Airlines -8, so it's even used in Alaska. Because they know it's going to be used in icing conditions, you can see the fact that we have full length de-icing boots on the leading edge of our main wing, which of course is used to keep the wing clean. The tail fin has a de-icing boot as well as the horizontal stabilizer. On top of that, the intakes are heated. The props have their own de-icing system. the pivots all have de-icing, and one of the real interesting quirks is my window here, set of windows here have de-icing, so they have de-icing elements in them. This window over here, however, doesn't. The first officer apparently doesn't rate de-icing on his window, so it can actually be used as a way to see how much ice is accumulating on the aircraft, because it obviously will be seen over on that side. I must say Majestic have done a remarkable job on this aircraft. I'm not usually a rivet counter or the like, but I do like accuracy, as people know. And you just have to look at this bird and you can see it is beautifully modelled. I mean, we can zoom in here, and if you wanted to be a rivet counter, I'm fairly certain you could actually count the rivets on this aircraft. It just looks stunning. Even the boot system has its grooves and everything. It's just really nice to see this level of detail being put into the work for entertainment and commercial use. Obviously, I'm running this in Flight Sim today. I can run this in Prepared. It runs perfectly in Prepared. I just ran it in Flight Sim today. On weather, I must give a nod to Hi-Fi. Looking at this, I can't see any of the remnants per se of the tiling issue they had at one point. Some will try and claim that this is tiling, the fact that you've got these clear spots. No, that's not tiling. That's caused by there being clear spots reported by those weather stations. Tiling is when you look at this and you could see repeats of the same cloud over and over and over again. The very early versions of Active Sky Next had some issues with it, especially when you got up to altitudes such as this. But I can't really see that much of it. If anything, actually, the cloud patterns and everything look very realistic with Active Sky Next. It's well worth the money. If you're fence sitting, there's some people who go, well, what's it offer over Rex or Real Weather Extreme or whatever they call, whatever Rex calls itself, including some of the people I've done work with. Rex is good for what it is. It's a baseline weather simulation interfaces with Flight Sim Prepared and the like, but because it's using just the stock standard features of that interface, it has
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center
the same limitations as the normal group. 132.6 charter 11. Set 132.60 on com 1.
Set.
Seattle Center charter 11 with you at flight level 21.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
As I was saying, because it uses the stock system, it's limited to the stock system. If you're in an area where it's raining, for example, in the stock system, it's raining over an area. It doesn't care if there's a cloud above you or not. So, in the case of right now, say we were getting reported rain at 250 and the like. We've got no clouds above us. We're well above the base cloud layer at the moment, though, you know, that cloud just over here to the side, which is at our level, maybe it was raining. In the stock system, we'd have rain pouring around us, or snow, or whatever, even though there's no place for it to be. What Active Sky has done with Active Sky Next is they've gone in and they're addressing the memory areas of Flight Sim. They're doing adjustments to the simulator at the assembly level, and they're looking at everything and giving us a true weather simulation. So if it's raining because there's clouds above you, the rain is falling and it's hitting you. As you leave those clouds, the rain will stop. The visibility reduction and the like that Active Sky gives is second to none if you ask me. And it's the only ones that I've used. Now, I've only used Opus, Rex and Active Sky. I'll admit that I haven't used some of the others on the market. But it's the only one that I've used which appears to do turbulence properly, which is and especially wind shear, which is a real nice change. That being said, we're going to start needing to look at our descent, so let's close this out. We won't close the outside view, we'll leave this up for you guys, but we will shrink it down into this corner. So for some reason we're not being able to mouse look anymore. Okay. We're at this stage of the flight plan.
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 128.15.
128.15, Charter 11. Set 128.15 on com 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
So, okay, we need to actually take a moment here to look at a couple of charts. We're expecting to be using
Charter 11, Contact Seattle Center 132.6.
132.6, Charter 11. Set 132.60 on com 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
So remember the hard view of this. We're basically planning on doing this. We need to be at or above 8,000 at Palmo. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set a yes, this will give us an idea of where our top of descent is, and we will actually ask ATC for descent when we get there. Even though I did this the other day, I do need to quickly check how I do it again.
Charter 11, contact Seattle Center 128.15.
128.15, Charter 11. Set 128.15 on com 1.
Set.
Seattle Center, Charter 11 with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Seattle Center, roger.
We need to have a look at some performance data here. We know at KBOI we're going to be approximately 24310 KBOI. That's our landing weight, so we'll actually set it to 24300 just to be on the safe side at the moment. So we need to landing will be KBOI or Boise Air Terminal 1. At the moment we're expecting 28 right, I believe I said. Conditions is snow. We want a flaps, we'll be doing an 8. Actually, we'll leave it as max. Get the weather. Our expected landing weight. So 24280 at the moment. Okay. So looking at this, we can see that our VREF is 118, our go around is 108, so this is the minimum speed we want to go, and our climb will be 114. So, flip this back over to here for a moment. We're going to set this one to 108. So we know we need to be between those. The decision height for Boise. Like that. So as far as I'm aware, it's an RMP on Zulu. Okay, we need to. Hopefully we'll have visual, if not we'll just go around. It happens. There, we'll presume that they're going to actually let us go down to there. Really would have preferred if, just in case, we will actually state that we're using. We'll presume we're actually going to end up using the VOR approach, just in case. So our minimum will be 3,380.
Charter 11, contact Salt Lake City Center 128.05.
To 8.05, Charter 11. Set 128.0. Set 128.05 on Com 1.
Set.
Salt Lake City, Charter 11, with you at flight level 250.
Last aircraft say again.
Salt Lake City Center, Charter 11, with you at flight level 250.
Charter 11, Salt Lake City Center, roger.
Okay, so it's 33. change things. Charter 1-1, request a descent.
Charter 1-1, descend and maintain 10,000.
Are you sure?
Descend and maintain 10,000, Charter 1-1. Descent checklist to the line, please.
Altimeters.
1013. Set. One 1012 cross check. 1012 set cross check.
1012 set and cross checked. Fuel balance.
Check.
Check. Pressurization. Set. Cabin PA. Stand by. I'll be off 1. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival. Thank you. Cabin PA complete. Fasten belt switch on. Approach and landing brief.
Charter 1-1, descend and maintain 10,000.
Okay, we'll be arriving by the ATC assigned star. As for
Descend
the approach, we can
and
expect
maintain
a VOR approach.
10,000,
Landing
Charter
runway
1-1.
condition is contaminated. Anti-ice will be required. We will use flaps 15 for landing. The bleeds will be on, and for the decision height, it's 3380 feet. After landing, please leave the APU off, and turn the transponder off since this airport doesn't use ASDX. Lastly, it looks like we'll be assigned a gate. The taxi route in will be as assigned by ATC. Any questions?
No questions.
Approach brief complete.
Complete.
Complete. Descent checklist completed to the line.
Descent checklist below the line. Descent checklist below the line. Below the line.
Jibwist landing flap. Selected 10 degrees. Fuel transfer.
Off.
Off. Hydraulic pressure quantity.
Check.
Caution warning lights. Check.
Check.
Approach flare lights. On. Ref speed switch. Bugs.
Increase set.
Increase. And set. FA notification. Complete. Descent checklist complete.
Set 113.30 on nav 1.
Set.
Okay, so what we're doing here basically is we're adjusting our speed by adjusting our vertical descent rate. We're a little above where we want it to be, so I increased the vertical descent rate.
Charter 1-1, cleared via Palmo 1 arrival hosts transition.
Cleared via Palmo 1 arrival host transition, Charter 1-1.
Charter 11, descend and maintain 9000.
Descend and maintain 9000, Charter 11.
Charter 11, contact Boise approach 119.6.
119.6, Charter 11. Set 119.60 on com 1.
Set.
Boise approach, Charter 11 with you on Palmo 1.
Charter 11, fly heading 090, descend and maintain 6500, expect vectors to GPS runway 28 right approach.
Fly heading 090, descend and maintain 6500, Charter 11.
Looks like we're picking up some ice.
Okay.
To go. Alt cell. Thousand above.
Wasn't expecting it to give us vectors as it did. Select props 900. Select props 900.
Set.